Welcome to the YCNU podcast. Join us each week for engaging conversations with campus leaders, students, faculty, staff, alumni, and community members. From academics to athletics, campus life, and beyond, we cover it all. Have someone you want to hear from? Let us know. Let's explore the world of Yavapai College together.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the YCNU podcast. I'm Cadu Medina, your host for today's episode, and I'm here with Dr. Doug Berry. Hello, Doug. Thank you for being on the podcast here with us. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us what is your role here at Yavapai College?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I serve as the Provost at YC, and here that means I supervise academic support divisions 3, 4, and 5. That includes our humanities, our STEM divisions, our performing and visual arts, as well as our instructional support. So this is a broad look at the institution with everything having to do with academics, from curriculum to accreditation, and really enjoy that work as a former faculty member, spending time in the classroom. And now my position, I'm in a space where I get to help other people serve those students in different capacities.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, tell us a bit more about your background and what led you to your current role here at Yavapai College. I think that'll make it a little easier for us to understand what this big role that you have here at Yavapai College is and, what you're about.
Yeah. Well, surprisingly enough, I did not start out in 4th grade wanting to be a provost, but over my journey in my academic career, going to graduate school, out here in Phoenix, I started teaching at Phoenix College as an adjunct instructor in sports psychology. And I grew up as a college athlete and have always been very connected to sports. And given that opportunity, a little nervous at first to be in front of a classroom, and particularly at a young age at an institution where probably the average age of students was older than myself, but instantly fell in love with teaching, and particularly with the community college, and working with the students who were all working or athletes or parents, and really trying to make a better life for themselves and others. And so I was given an opportunity to teach additional classes there at PC, and eventually started teaching at Paradise Valley as well as an adjunct instructor, and then received a full-time or permanent position there. And I taught for about 10 years. And over that period of time, I served as a division chair, honors program director, sat on numerous committees, participated in faculty senate, did all the things to learn about how the college and the Maricopa district worked. And again, an opportunity came up where an academic dean position was open, and I talked to a few of my mentors and threw my name in the hat. And after that selection process, served as the academic dean at Paradise Valley for 2 years. What I thought would be a similar role to a division chair and an academic leader, soon found out it was very different being an administrator. But I very much valued that work and loved that work. As I said, I had the opportunity to work with accrediting agencies. I worked with many of our academic leaders and supporting them and the work that they do for our students. And about 2 years later, there was an opening back at Phoenix College for their vice president of academic affairs. And I went through that search process and was selected as a candidate, and got a little bit bigger glimpse into how community colleges work, not only at that local level, but at the state level and even national level. And really enjoyed the leadership capacity and the work at a vice president level, which is similar to the provost. We use a different title here. Okay. But I was doing the same work, supervising learning and instructional support areas, working with all of our academic chairs and leaders, working with those accrediting bodies, and the community, our stakeholders, our industry partners, councils. This was all about building bridges and connecting with people and providing opportunity for our students. And so with the opportunity at Yavapai, I read up about the college online. I went through the materials. I looked at the website. I looked at the reports and documents, and thought that's a place I would love to be. And so went through the application process, had a great experience with the interview team and committee, came up to YC and both Prescott and the Verde Valley for the interview, met numerous people who were, very genuine, very kind, and had a great interview here, and just fingers crossed over the next 2 weeks, waiting to hear back, waiting to hear some positive news, and was just thrilled when given the opportunity. And now we're about nine months into that journey, and still loving every day, still seeing the energy from the faculty, staff, and students that I saw during that interview process. Really enjoy working with the leadership team. President Ryan is a phenomenal leader with vision. And I think the team supports her in the work that we do. And it's really great to be working with the team, all moving in the same direction. And it's really been all about the students and the opportunities that they have to improve their socioeconomic status, their engagement in the community. So it's been a good journey, and I'm looking forward to many more years ahead.
That's wonderful. Yeah. It's only been 9 months, but it feels like a journey already, doesn't it?
I feel very comfortable here, which is a great thing. Sometimes, when you hear people say it feels like it's been a long time, it's not the positive context, but this is very much the positive context where it just feels comfortable and right to be here working with this group of people and working with these students.
Yeah. All right. As a matter of fact, just an anecdote here. We started about the same time. So it's been 9 months since I joined the team, the marketing team here, Yavapai College. Great. And I do feel like it's been a long time. I have a hard time thinking, like, how long has it been since I started working here? Right. It just feels like many years because of the way I immediately dove in, and, so much has happened, and I met so many people. So I know how you mean that. Yeah. It feels like a journey, even if it's just 9 months. Yep. Well, I know the whole leadership team works so closely together. You guys are physically close together, right? And that's probably part of the routine that you all have to check in with each other and kind of validate things. So tell us a little bit about what a typical day looks like here for you at Yavapai College, and what's your favorite part of that routine?
Yeah. One of the reasons why I love these leadership roles is I don't know if I have a typical day. Every day is something new, something different. But generally I get up here and start work pretty early in the morning. Billy, my admin, is amazing and is always here to greet me, and has everything up and running and ready to go. And I usually have a little time for myself in the morning, make sure I'm caught up on emails, anything that came in overnight, any political or safety or whatever might happen at the college or in the county that happens. I use that time in the morning to catch up and make sure I'm ready to go. And then, each day has a different set of meetings, usually with direct reports or campus leaders. In between meetings, you're right, our team is very close. We're tight. We talk. We talk about work. We talk about things outside of work. And I think that's been part of feeling so comfortable here is the way we've gelled together. Mm-hmm. There's a number of us who are new on this team. And we've all come together under our common interest of community college and supporting students, and really get along well. And then as the day goes on, I try to make it a point to leave my office at least once and get out on the campus, whether that's walk through the cafeteria or one of the classrooms or a different building. It's nice to be out and see students and see the employees engaging with students, because unfortunately in our admin building, we don't have any students here. So it's nice to be able to get out, and the weather in Prescott is beautiful year round. Mm-hmm. And so it's great just to be out walking and talking with people and seeing people do the work. I feel like I can advocate better for those individuals as well, knowing their working conditions, knowing the spaces on campus. And so as the afternoon wraps up, I typically, I'm checking in with my team, and then it's, some nights headed home, other nights headed to an event, a sporting event, a community event. But it's all great work that I enjoy doing.
Absolutely. Are you recognized when you are doing your rounds around the campus? Do people stop you and talk to you and ask you questions?
Absolutely. And that's why I do it. And I just want to get a chance to talk casually with people, see how their day's going, check in with them, get to know them a little bit better as a person, not just as an employee. We spend an awful lot of time together, but then we go back to our lives, and those lives are difficult to unwind from our work world. And so the more I can learn about our employees as people, I think it helps me engage with them on the work level as well. So I love it. That's the point of me walking around, is to stop and talk to people and talk to students. So I always encourage people to flag me down or call me into their office. I love seeing people's family photos or what their hobbies are, interests are, to, again, just to get to know them a little bit better.
Perfect. Tell us about a project or initiative that you're currently working on that excites you excites you the most? I know you've been working on a million things. What is that one thing?
We do have a lot of things going on, and all good things. I'd say the thing that I'm most excited about, because the impact it has on our students and our community, is our ability to offer bachelor's degrees now.
Right.
And many of our students start with us and do not transfer out to a university, whether that's for cost or they're place bound. And now that we have the ability to offer baccalaureate degrees, we are allowing our students to stay here where they want to be and complete and get into a high demand field or industry. We have our business bachelor's degrees, we have our nursing, and now we're working on computer science with our accrediting agency. So again, another high in demand field with great paying wages, and we will be able to offer that degree hopefully within the next calendar year and just provide another opportunity or option for our students. And then within that, our accrediting agency has said that we can offer baccalaureate degrees with fewer than 120 credits. So we will be working with our faculty experts, our curriculum teams, our industry partners around what that looks like. But again, we're saving the students time, we're saving them money, and we're giving them a product that will make them more employable and allow them to be hired and then stay in the region, hopefully, and work huge. Right here. Yeah.
That's really important. Well, what other initiatives or programs here at Yavapai College do you think are underappreciated but deserve more attention? I mean, this is definitely a big one, and we've been talking about our bachelor's degrees for quite some time. But we have so many legs through this college. Anything else that you feel like, this is equally important but underappreciated maybe?
Yeah. One of the things that I've always valued about the community college and the ones that I've worked at, including YC, is how much we focus in on generally educating our students. We hear a lot from our employers that they come in with these technical skills, but they struggle with writing or oral communication. They struggle with organizational skills, leadership skills, critical thinking. And that is what we do. We have general education courses that prepare our students to be not only employees, but just better humans in general. And our team here does great. Our faculty does a phenomenal job with their education, with the assessment of student learning on general education. We've actually been going through a redesign with the Arizona General Education curriculum. It's the credits from the community colleges that will be accepted into any of our in-state universities as a block without any additional review. So if a student comes here and they take their 32 to 35 credits with us, they get those transferred as a block to NAU, U of A, ASU, and they're not going to ask to see a syllabus or another transcript to verify the class. It's really important that students finish that AJAC as a block. If they finish, 28 credits, then whatever college they transfer to could look at each of those courses individually and say, you know what, we're going to need you to take a different communications class. So it's a great thing for students. Our team here has done a really nice job in preparing that curriculum, and we'll be rolling that out in fall 25 as well. And so that's new. It's updated. The AJAC has stayed the same for the first 40 years or the last 40 years.
40 years.
Yes.
Wow.
So
yeah, that's big.
Much needed redesign, and we're looking forward to implementing that. And again, how that's going to help students, whether they start with us in high school as a dual or concurrent enrollment student, or they're coming back to college as a non-traditional student. This is that package of general education courses that will go with them as a group and save them time and money at the university if they do transfer.
That's wonderful. It sounds like, I have a next question here for you. This is going to be perfect as a perfect follow-up here to what you were saying there, because there's definitely some misconceptions about community colleges, and people don't understand or underappreciate or really have a very small idea of what we do here and the impact that we can create in our communities. What are some of these misconceptions that you think, people have about community colleges, and what's something about Yavapai College you believe more people should know or appreciate? I mean, this is definitely one of them, but what else do you think fits in that category of not knowing truly what a community college nowadays is all about and what it can do?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think right now, even higher education in general is somewhat under the microscope and has been for a while. People questioning the value of a degree. Do I really need to go to college? Meanwhile, all the data does show and indicate that those individuals with continuing degrees, earn more over their lifetime, have more flexibility. But it's tough. There's so many options. There's so many choices. Student loan debt is a real thing. And so the misconceptions, I think, that come with a community college is that we are somehow less than a university or another type of college. And we're certainly not. That only a certain type of student would come here, someone who maybe cannot get into a university, which again is not true. We have valedictorians come through here and take their courses. And I think one of the reasons people come here and they like it and they stay is because they see our committed faculty and staff. I had the same misconception as a young person thinking about a community college and a university, and you don't know until you show up and you get there. But having worked in the system, I can tell you our faculty, many of them have terminal degrees in their fields. They are experts. They're the ones doing research or writing papers or providing presentations. Unfortunately, sometimes you go to a larger university and your instructor is a teaching assistant. It's not the same quality of time that you get in the classroom as you do here at YC. And so I always think that's a highlight. Obviously, our affordability is unmatched by the universities. Students can come here. We have extremely low student loan debt for our college, which is phenomenal. Students do not need to take out loans. We have scholarships available that allow students to go through here. We've started a project to turn as many courses into OER, open educational resources, as possible, which means there's no textbook cost anymore. I know when I went to school, I spent $700-800 alone on books every semester. And we are taking that cost out of the hands of students. So it's really made the whole process of going to college much easier. And as an open access institution, which we are, we accept everybody. And we don't want finances to be the reason that you're not able to come here. So we do what we can to get scholarships and other financial support for our students.
Without compromising the quality of their education here. That's the other important thing, right?
Absolutely.
We're not taking from their education so that they can afford it. They're getting the same, if not a better education here with a lot less stress, especially financial stress.
Yeah, absolutely. Those steps and measures that we're taking do not compromise anywhere in the classroom or on the campus. We have one of the most beautiful campuses I've been on. Facilities team does a great job of maintaining our facilities at all 7 of our locations. And I think that's part of campus culture here as well. We want students to come here and then stay here and hang out and network and meet some friends for life, hopefully, and learn from their faculty and staff outside of the formal classroom settings. And so it's been a great experience in seeing that on those walks that I was telling you about.
Beautiful. Speaking of staff, faculty, and students, can you share an example of a staff, faculty, or student story that has particularly inspired you recently? And since you've been here for 9 months, I'm sure that you've come across a lot of these stories that really kind of tells the truth behind what we're saying here.
Yeah. A couple of them come to mind. One is just our engagement with our Student Government Association. Our student government leaders have very unique stories. They're all very different students. They have a common purpose that they're here for an academic goal, but they work really well together in being the voice of the student body on campus. They're in degree programs that require so much of their time and effort, but yet they volunteer in these roles to make sure that their voices are heard. They sit on our councils. They come to our governing board meetings. Just great engagement from these young leaders who, hopefully someday some of them end up coming back and working here. It's always a great story when we have students who successfully navigate the academic pathway and then they come back and work at YC because they enjoyed it so much and they want to help other people. So it's great to see that in this helping service industry where people had such a good experience that someday they hope to come back and work here and provide the same for someone else. So that, that's been inspiring to see. And then there's been a couple faculty working on projects that do impact the entire institution. I mentioned the AJAC redesign. So Karen Palmer's been leading that work as our program director for Gen Ed and keeping up to date on all the state mandated requirements, working very closely across all of our faculty groups to make sure their voices are heard, working with the administrators across the state. So it's been a big lift for her and I appreciate that work. And then Tiffany Cragnis has taken on our peer mentor program director role. And this is where we launch new faculty in their first 3 years, and we want to give them direction and support and guidance. And she stepped into this role just this summer and already started to make a huge difference. And I'm really happy to be supporting her in the work that she's doing to get our new faculty on board so that they feel like they're comfortable here.
Yeah.
And they know what's going on and they know who to go to for help. So those have been some projects that I think have been really important that are going well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing and thank you for the call outs. I need to get them in the podcast here next sometime really soon. Well, Doug, we're kind of about the end here of our podcast, as I've traditionally done here in the past. I have a sequence of rapid fire questions just to really kind of get to know you a little bit better, kind of pick your brain on a couple of different directions. Are you ready?
I'm ready
for this. Okay. Short and sweet. Here we go. What is a new skill or area of knowledge you've been exploring lately? And that could be anything. It could be learning music or exercising or taking on a new PhD. And how does it relate to your work here at the college?
Well, it's definitely not a new PhD. So
been there, done that. That's
yeah. You know, like I said, I've been an athlete for a long time, but my oldest son started playing competitive volleyball, and men's volleyball was not an option when I was in high school. So while I watch, I'm now learning and I'm, almost experiencing it as a coach on the sideline. So I don't know all the rules. I don't know the rotations. I don't know how those things work. So I've really been trying to study that so I can, coach him along and support him, because if I can't talk with him about that, then I can't be effective in helping him. And the same is true. My younger son started playing football, which I was a basketball player, so I never got into football. And there's just so many nuances to that sport in each position. And so with both of my boys, I've been learning a little bit more about what they do at a technical level. And I feel like that very much relates to the work that I do here. As I mentioned in my previous careers, I've tried to be as involved as possible at the college level so I can really learn all the things that are happening. I think, again, I can advocate better for individuals, whether that comes to finances or the workload that they have, if I know the job that they're doing. Not to say that you have to do every job to be in these roles, but it's great to know as much about everybody at the college as possible. Just like with my boys, I'm trying to learn all those different positions and different things and skills that they're learning so I can work with them. It's very similar here at the college.
I love it. Perfect. If you could go back 9 months ago and give yourself a piece of advice on your first day here at Yavapai College, what would it say?
First day here. I had a great first day here. It was in December. It was a great time of year to be up here. I don't know if I could change anything about how I started. I came in feeling very comfortable. President Ryan made me feel welcome and accepted before I even started officially working here. The same with the leadership team. They met with me before I officially started here. So, I came in, I think, very confident that this was the place that I was supposed to be and very comfortable with the people I was working with. And so I tell myself, come in with that same level of comfort and be yourself, and people here are ready for you to be here. So
perfect.
Yeah.
I need to ask you that question 10 years from now.
Right.
So they may be a little different. It's still very fresh.
Yes.
So, it's good that the freshness and the positivity of that feeling is still carrying on with you. Okay. If you could invite any historical figure to speak at our community college here, who would it be and what topic would you want them to address?
Wow. That's a good question that I have not ever thought about. What topic?
Let's start with who.
Well, yeah. I'm leaning towards a scholar, and this is on my mind because we've talked so much about critical thinking lately, and we talked about Sir Francis Bacon and his approach to critical thinking and critical thinkers. What an experience would it be if he were here and could share those insights with us and our faculty and our staff and students. So that is a top of mind historical figure that we've talked about over the last month or so.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to hear you talk about that. Since it's so fresh in your mind, it'll be really awesome to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay. If you had a magic wand to grant every community college student one skill for their future, what would it be and why? One skill.
One skill for their future, I'm going to go back to being a generally educated person and those outcomes that we have. I would say it would be excellent interpersonal communication skills. And I think that those communication skills are the same, whether we're talking verbal or written. It's really hard to think of an industry that a person's going to work in where that's not going to be needed. And it also goes into everything we do in life with personal relationships.
Right.
So it's one of those transferable skills that you would need in the workplace, at home. And so we teach those skills here, not just in communication classes, but in a lot of our classes. And if we could just guarantee everyone that walked out of here with excellent interpersonal communication skills, I think we'd be doing a lot of people a lot of really good service. So
I completely agree. Good one. If you could put a billboard anywhere here on campus with anything on it, what would it say and why?
A billboard on campus. Probably I'm going to go with all are welcomed here, because that's truly our mission, is to serve anyone who wants a chance at improving their well-being, their life, their livelihood. And so I think that kind of large scale billboard of all are welcomed here would be screaming our message, for everyone to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. All are welcome here.
Yeah.
Well, I certainly felt that way first time I walked in here, Doug. So that would be a well-fitted
Good.
message for a billboard. I'm going to talk to Tyler about this, and we need to think about it.
Nice.
Doug, we are at the end of our podcast here. Any final thoughts? Anything that we left out that you want to bring to this episode?
I think we covered a lot. Very consistent throughout. I hope you saw was passion for students and learning, and then also for our faculty and staff here who've been very welcoming to me. And I hope I'm supporting them in a way that they also feel like I am welcoming them into my office or into my world anytime they want. And I appreciate the time with you and answering these questions. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you, Doug. I really appreciate the time and enjoyed our conversation, getting to know you a little bit better. It's always so much fun to talk to you. And I encourage anyone who sees you in your rounds at the cafeteria or anywhere in the campus to stop you and say hello, because you're that easy and that friendly to talk to.
Yeah, great.
I appreciate it. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the YCNU podcast. We hope you enjoyed our conversation today. Don't forget to follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got someone in mind for our next chat? Reach out and let us know. Until next time, keep exploring, and we'll see you next week.